Hello, hello. Can you guys hear this? No. Yes?
Yes.
Oh, we're on. Shit.
No, I think.
We're going to start in like 1 minute. We're giving 1 more minute for people to join, and we're going to start, okay? Can you guys hear us okay? Yes, yes. Awesome, awesome. Great. Yeah,
You,
I'll start. I just
okay.
I mean, we're all this. Yeah, but you're. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting, so yeah, I'll hand it to you.
Okay.
Behind?
They are hearing all our conversation right
Yeah,
now.
because
Yes,
I
they
have.
are here. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Hello, everybody.
Very beautiful audience, isn't it?
Yeah, very beautiful. I think so. We have the most handsome.
Of course, it's a Douglas beauty
Yeah,
thingy.
yeah.
We have to be very beautiful.
That was the criteria.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how just how we chose you. You don't know. You don't know this, but we chose you like this.
Just by your looks.
Very inappropriate. I think this feels like the most inappropriate joke to start the day, right? So,
But we got to set the scene.
yes, yes, yes. That is true. Okay, I think we can get started, no?
Yeah, let's get
All
started.
right, let's get started. All right. Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me well. Yes? No? She's saying no. Okay, there's one lady with an issue with her headset. And she's impacting the entire thing. Thank you. It's okay? Okay, awesome. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Elad Simon. I am the CEO of Zeotap. Zeotap is a CDP, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But we have a very exciting masterclass for you today. As you can see, it's about the beauty of data, and it's basically combining, a beauty loyalty program into high margin growth with data. With me today is Eva. Eva is the SVP of CRM, AI, and analytics for Douglas. So I know her very well, just to be clear. It's not like I met her like a minute ago, but I don't remember all her title. It's a very long title, so I'm trying to, I do my best to remember it by heart. And she will take us through the first slides. But before we go in, I just want to say, and I know everybody says it, but we actually mean it. We want this to be an actually informative session for you, not just like we will broadcast, you will listen, and then you go away with nothing. So we will try to make it a bit detailed and a bit informative. And if you have any questions, keep them, write them down. We have, I think, hopefully we'll have a long Q&A session at the end. So we'll be able to ask all your questions, and we'll run the microphone around you, and you can ask all the questions if you have any. Okay? Awesome. Over to you, Eva.
Yeah, perfect. So let's get started. We would like to take you on a journey about beauty, about loyalty, about activation, and of course, about data. So why is customer data for us so important, and why is loyalty so important? I hope everybody of you knows Douglas. We have the biggest beauty loyalty program in Europe. We have more than 64 million customers within our database, so that's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of data also that we analyze and that we can use. And the Douglas Beauty Card, so our loyalty program, holds it all together. So on the one hand, it is really necessary to have first-party data because we want to activate our customers the best way we can and the most personalized way that we can. We really want to target promotion because we're going to talk about high margin as well, and I think personalized promotion is one way to go. And on the other hand, when we're talking about the world of beauty, I see there are a lot of females here, female members in this talk. This is pretty cool. So I think you're a little closer to beauty. But maybe when you think about yourself, on the one hand, when you purchase beauty products, it's about replenishment. So you have your routine, you probably have your skincare routine, and you replenish that on the one hand. So it's very, how you say, I only have the German word on top of my mind, but that's okay.
Go for it, go for it.
So sehr verstandsgetrieben. So on the one hand, you look at the price, you know exactly which product works for you and that you want to keep. And on the other hand, you want inspiration. When we're talking about a cool makeup look you would like to try, you saw maybe on a model, or you saw in a magazine or whatever. So there's also a trigger that can make our customers buy if we show the latest trends regarding beauty. So care, makeup, and also fragrance.
But Eva, just to make sure, it also represents the men as well. Just to,
Yeah.
especially if you look at, I'm a good example of a very groomed man, so
Yeah,
with a great hair day, so it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, but as we talked beforehand, so we know, for example, that men are very loyal, not only to their partners, but hopefully, but also to their fragrances. So of course, there the price is a bigger role, and we have that also on the slide. So the rising price sensitivity and also transparency is a challenge that we're facing within our beauty business. When we're talking about especially Gen Z and younger customers, we see that the omnichannel behavior is really increasing. So the research online, purchase offline, and the other way around is very present with us. We see that every third new Gen Z customers purchases in the other channel once they started their customer journey with us. So the seamless journey is really key to be successful for us. And that's why we need to understand with data how our customer is moving between these channels. So we've been around with the Douglas Beauty Card for 30 years. It's very likely that the majority of you maybe has already a Douglas Beauty Card. As I said, we have more than 64 million customers within our database. And of course, we want to keep it up to date. Being on the market for 30 years, you have to renew yourself and tell a new story from time to time. So on the one hand, we looked, of course, at the younger audience and how we want to bring this to our customers. So we're going to look also at some marketing slides at a 360 campaign that we did with the relaunch of the program. The relaunch started last year in spring with Netherlands and Belgium. We have rolled it out to 8 countries already, but I'll come to that in a minute. And of course, with that, we want to really personalize the communication towards our customers as well. And we go deeper into that with Elad in a few minutes. And of course, with the loyalty program, we want to set the right triggers for the next purchase and really connecting the customers closer to us as Douglas as a company. When we're looking at our beauty card, maybe for those who don't know the program yet, we have a tier-based program that we have rolled out already. You see with the tiers and with the points that you collect, the incentives are increasing. So the more you spend, the more you engage with us, the higher the incentives are, and the more personalized it gets, also with the personal contact within the stores. As I said, we're already live in 8 customers, and we really want to give the customers richer rewards, more personalized offers, and exclusive services. So for example, as a Douglas customer, you were able to get tickets for Coachella, or Douchella, as we like to call it. Maybe some of you saw that on Instagram. That was quite a big campaign. And of course, during the year, we're planning to integrate more and more Douglas Beauty Card customers to get the chance to attend these really cool events that everybody wants to attend. And of course, we want one unified omnichannel platform that is the base for our activation of the customers. Because a good loyalty program only works with the right activation, and the right activation only works with the right data underneath it. Yeah, I think I said enough about the program and how we set it up with the beauty card, the gold status, platinum status. I think for us, it worked really well. So far, we've seen really good results on the KPIs that we expected. And now I would like to talk about the marketing a little bit more. As you can see, we chose this frame that should look like a physical card, because being on the market for 30 years, you can imagine we also have some customer base that has been with us for 30 years, and they really stick to their physical card. So we chose this icon, so to say, to connect the channels of digital communication and a digital card with the physical card. In some countries, we only have the digital card, but in most countries, we still have a hybrid approach that you can get the physical card if you want to, but of course, we prefer you to register digitally. And also for this campaign, for this launch campaign, we did a full photo shoot, as you can see, very diverse for all ages, for all people, men, women as well. And this frame we can use for all marketing campaigns that we're running. So we can really use our Douglas Beauty Card element on everything that we do, basically. When we had the relaunch, we also used social media.
Wir haben eine neue Beauty
And you
Card.
should probably
Hier kommen
hear
jetzt alle
something.
Infos,
I'll
die ihr
click
wissen müsst.
through
Du
it
hast schon
very
eine Beauty Card, kein
quickly.
Problem. Du
So
hast
you
einfach das
see
neue Programm übernommen. Für alle, die
Germany
noch
on the one
keine
hand,
Beauty Card haben,
Italy.
ist jetzt der
We also
Zeitpunkt.
have Belgium in here. So these countries we've already launched, and we had really good connections with the influencers. And when we did the relaunch, you see, we really did a 360-degree marketing campaign. So we had it in store at the point of sale, in the newsletter, in the app push, print, etc. And for those who work in loyalty, but maybe and those also who don't work in within the loyalty area environment, you probably don't know, but if you change the terms and conditions of a loyalty program, that's quite a long road. And so we did that with a big bang within Douglas. And I think in Frankfurt, Düsseldorf, Wien, we had also street trains with our Douglas Beauty Card on it, and we saw a really high increase also of sign-ups. So this was really a big success that we have done here, and we're really proud of that together with the team. When we're talking about loyalty, as I said, it always comes with activation. And of course, we want to do most personalized and automated activation that we can. And we use our data, of course, for that. And on the upper right, you see our, upper left, sorry, from your side, you see the customer lifecycle. So we have more than 40 steps within the customer lifecycle that has some elements about loyalty, but also a lot of elements along the customer journey. So welcoming the customers, activating, driving the first purchase, etc. And now with the loyalty program, we used more touch points. So you can see your point status, the points expiry, how far you're away from the next tier, for example, your digital beauty card, of course, and also personalized product recommendations, etc. So I think this is really important to see that on the one hand you have a customer lifecycle, and then you can use other touch points for activation as promotions, etc., which should be as personalized as possible. And talking about personalization, we have key objectives. We're going to talk about our 4 key objectives that we think that are really important when we're talking about customer activation. So as I said, the customer moves between channels and communication channels as well. So we really want to provide the most seamless customer experience. That means that we need to think about personalization end to end, and not only by one email that we send out. The customer needs to really realize that we understand her in the way that the product recommendations that we give, for example, are the same in each touch point that the customer chooses. And also, we are going to talk about orchestration. That is quite important, because one is automation, and then you can also overload the customers. So we have strict communication rules, how many touch points on each channel, and which channel is the preferred channel, and how we contact our customer, how often we contact our customers, and also when we contact our customers, depending on the customer segment. And also, and we see that on the next slide, is that we know for each channel what works best, which message works best, and I will share that with you, as I said, in a minute. And also, the third one is that it needs to be as dynamic as we can. So when we're talking about real-time personalization, that's definitely one goal that we follow. To use more of the real-time data that our customers are giving us once they're browsing our digital channels, for example. And talking about high margin, of course, it should be efficient. Some countries, especially in Southern Europe and Eastern Europe, are still using SMS, which is quite an expensive channel for activating their customers. And of course, then we look what could be a channel orchestration strategy in order to reduce the cost with maybe even more incremental sales and profit. So for us, what we did, we looked at different channels and had a look what message should be sent via which channel. And I think since you're in the marketing, social, CRM environment with your jobs, I think I won't lecture about each of that, but maybe just to point out, which might be a little newer for the DACH community, is the wallet push, because we have one country in our portfolio that's really using the wallet push, so the Apple Wallet and Google Wallet, within their communication, because it doesn't cost anything, and we in a few months, we generated more than 100,000 permissions just for the wallet channel. And as you can imagine, it really grabs a lot of attention once you get the push notification from your wallet. So this is something you might want to look into for yourselves, because of course, as Ilad was saying, this should be an interactive session, and we want you to take something from this session. And if you ask us as experts, maybe that might be something to have a look into for you and your channel orchestration. Depending on the countries that you're active in, I think that might be interesting for you. So all these channels in CRM we are responsible for, and we are orchestrating the most effective as we can. And now, of course, since we want to do that, what do we need for that? And Ilad will go into that.
Thank you. Thank you, Eva. So as you've seen throughout so far, let's say, you've seen basically the magic of the Douglas loyalty program and how it all happens. And now we're going to dive a little bit behind the scenes. We're going to do it, by the way, in this audience, just with a show of hands, everybody knows what a CDP is or not? Yes, no, some, oh, well then, yes, let's say some. So I will do it slowly and gradually. So we'll talk a little bit about why is customer data platform so critical for these kind of programs, and why is it actually, let's say, the data foundation. And by the way, this was my pre-planned joke for, I don't know if for the, okay, you get the joke, data foundation, you get, okay, fine, okay. I was working on this for a long time, just so you know. The only thing I could find to connect the two fields together. So thank you for laughing, I appreciate it. So basically, I want to talk a little bit about why is customer data platform really an engine from a data perspective to actually make this whole thing a reality. And when you think about it, it basically, we put some stuff on the slide, basically just to talk about a few examples of why is it so critical. So first of all, and by the way, the images are completely unrelated to the text themselves, okay? Just so in case you wonder why this lady represents single source of segmentation, she doesn't. It's just a beautiful picture next to some words. So let's talk about single source of segmentation for a second. So when you think about it, when you do all these like omni-channel orchestration across messages, you don't want to be in a situation where somebody gets a weird message that is completely uncorrelated to what they've seen in a different channel, right? So you don't want your app push to be contradictory or weird or unrelated to your SMS or to your wallet push, etc. So you want to have a single source for segmentation. If you have multiple tools and you have multiple ways to segment your data, what happens as a result is that different people that you wanted to have in the same segment, even if you chose them very carefully, will end up being in different segments. So this is a very, let's say, almost tactical or technical problem that ends up with a lot of confusion to your customer. And as we spoke about it, I mean, I think you know this now. I think all of us know this. We all expect omni-channel to be perfect. We don't expect Douglas to talk to us in a different language on text and on app. I want Douglas to know everything about me. I mean, I don't want anything because I don't buy on Douglas. But conceptually, you want everything because you want it to be consistent across the channels. So that's first thing. The second thing, and Eva mentioned this, of course, is real-time targeting. I mean, I think we all understand that if you get a text message or a push notification in the wrong timing, it's like either lame or just bad, right? So, you know, if you get, I mean, to take an example, if you're bought something or thought about buying something online, and then you get like 5 hours later a text message, hey, we noticed that you were buying this online. You're like, okay, this company is like super lame, right? So like this is how, and then of course you have worst case, like if you're in travel, you get like your ticket notification one day after you actually took the train. So that's not very helpful, right? So real time is something that we all expect from all of our channels. We live extremely connected. Everybody has at least 2, if not 3 devices that are always connected to, and we want that to be done in real time. And the third thing is about increased personalization. Think of this as how granular can you go into your data in order to do something, right? So I can say a lady or a man likes perfume. You know, that's like a very, very broad category of humans, right? So, but I can also say they like, help me please, Chanel 5?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. They like Chanel 5. I can also say in the winter they like Chanel 5, and in the autumn they like
The Miss Dior.
Miss Dior. Thank you. So like that level of granularity eventually is what drives hyper-personalization, right? So this ability to be able to say, no, I don't just look at very broad segmentation or affinity categories. I look at something very deep is what I mean by increased personalization. And last but not least, and this is a very analytical point of view, is this unified 360 view of a customer. At the end of the day, again, we don't know you, right? So, but we assume that you're in OMR because you're working in a company of sorts and you're interested in learning something. So, at the end of the day, you want to have your data in a way that is analyzable. That's not a word, but conceptually it sounds like a word, so that's good. And something you can actually query and understand your user behavior. This is, again, for anybody who worked in marketing, I'm an ex-marketeer before I became a data geek. So as an ex-marketeer, data is gold for driving actual campaign ideas, for driving general marketing ideas, right? So you want to have that 360 view, and you want to be able to know more. We're going to talk a little bit about what 360 really means when we talk a little bit about AI towards the end, but you really want to know everything about the customer. All right, so now we go into the very dark, detailed slides of technical. I will not make them dark and detailed. I'll try to do it as quick as possible. This is just to show you a little bit how does a CDP actually operate in general, right? So basically, if you look on the left side, you basically see the data sources. This is what we look at as like the raw data that is sitting somewhere. It could be in your web shop, could be in a SAP system, could be in an SQL database. This is something that sits somewhere in your organization. And this is a big problem for a lot of companies because in many big companies, you have the data sitting in different locations, doesn't connect to anything else, and it's like you need to be able to collect that data. So we ingest that data into Zeotap, you can see in the middle, and then we also take data. I mean, in this example in the middle, you see how the CRM activation. We're focused here on CRM activation because this is the core of the loyalty engine behind the Douglas loyalty program. And basically, Douglas has all of its offline data sitting in Snowflake. So that's, for who don't know, Snowflake is a data warehouse which is used by many companies. Not to promote them, there are other data warehouses. You can buy whatever you want. Don't worry about it. I don't care. But basically, you collect the data from Snowflake about all the offline purchases. This means basically we are able to take all the data from anybody who went to the store and bought something in Douglas. And that allows us eventually to match all the data from e-commerce and from store behavior into a single profile. And then that goes to MRSys, which is in Douglas's case, the actual CRM system. And that allows you then to do all the activation through the various channels. You see the arrows, they're bi-directional because eventually after campaign happens, then there are results and people respond or open or buy or something, and that gets sent back. So I know afterwards if person X actually was interested in this campaign or not, so that I can better target them for the future. And then afterwards, of course, on the right-hand side, besides the CRM work, which is all the loyalty stuff, you have all the activation through the paid media channels. You can see it here. So these are examples of paid media channels. There's also Chameleon. Chameleon is a online, basically like a web optimization solution, so you can do A/B testing on it and web personalization, as well as, of course, retail media channels. So this focus of this presentation is very much on the loyalty program, but of course, the single customer view can also be used for retail media. I don't know if anybody is a professional retail media person, but retail media is where you use the data in order to help other brands activate there. So for example, Douglas can also help Dior target better people who are interested in Dior, right? So like that's another example of activation. So that's just a little bit of behind the scenes of how the CDP data flow actually works. And of course, if you have questions, you can ask later. And then just to add more complexity, basically, we can look a little bit into the details of what kind of data sources we collect, and you can see on the bottom you can basically see all the types of data, whether it's transactional data offline, whether it's online transactional data. We spoke about that. All the behavioral data. So if somebody is on the website and really lurks around the area of perfumes, then we can we can use that in order to understand better about okay, they're probably very interested in perfume or buying perfume right now, etc. Device data, so could be your ISP, could be are you on a mobile phone? Which mobile phone are you? I'm sure you all know you have certain mobile phones. iPhone is an obvious example, is more leaning towards buying things. I don't know why, but it just happens to be the case. Then you have replenishment data, again, very specific to the beauty sector, and actually knowing about what needs to be replenished when, etc. Loyalty we discussed, of course, and then the customer DNA table, which is a unique thing that Douglas built. Do you want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do that. So we call it the customer DNA table, and basically it's more than 140 attributes about the customer, because me personally, I don't believe in one customer segmentation. I believe in sort of a DNA. So because I really like that picture of a customer. There are so many attributes that describe the customer, and we combine the customer DNA table on the one hand, of course, with aggregated numbers like annual spend, number of categories, etc. But we enrich that customer DNA also with analytical models and scores. So of course, the churn score, I think that's an easy one. We have a promotional affinity score. So what's the discount that you need in order to make the next purchase? Because we see some customers, they do their replenishment with Douglas, they have a really high loyalty, they might not need a big discount. And of course, we have very discount-driven customers as well within our database. And as you said, using it for retail media on the one hand, but also for our CRM campaigns, we have a brand affinity score and a category affinity score. So we know how likely a customer is to buy a specific launch, for example, a new female fragrance from Chanel. And we also have that within the customer DNA table, and we use it on a daily basis. On the one hand for the segments that we create, but also for the content that we put into the different communication channels.
Yeah, and I thank you for that, Eva. I really like that idea because, I mean, in many cases we see customers, our customers, not your customer. Yeah, you get the gist. Our customers having a quite a single dimension kind of thinking about segmentation. So and then I like the idea of DNA because it's by nature, I think humans are complex. And so it's not like if I like perfumes and that's it. I am a perfume liking kind of person. So I keep getting stuck on perfume because the only thing I'm not a big lipstick person. I know it's a shock. I know.
No makeup?
No, I know. I forgot my foundation. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm not going to try even. It's I have a daughter, so she uses it. So I know something about it, and a wife. So anyway, okay. Never mind. But I like the fact that actually you're using something that is like multidimensional and let's say changing over time, kind of sophisticated thinking with this DNA. Even the name itself is a very interesting layer. So that's a little bit about the data sources. Then, I mean, of course, on top of that, we have basically all the added data that is brought in by whether it's the product data. So for example, if you think about it, yes, of course, we need to know everything about the customer, but we also need to know everything about Douglas's products, right? So all the SKUs, if you know what the SKUs are, and all the variants of those SKUs, so that actually we can match those at the end of the day. When you activate, you want to say, hey, this product is on this discount or whatever, or this special offer. So we need to know all that data as well. And of course, we need to all the data that Eva mentioned around probability. About predictive modeling is something that we have ourselves. Also work with our customers on building together, etc. So that's a very interesting area of. It's actually what is part of AI, right? So it's like machine learning based, but it's very, very heavily leaning into modeling in order to understand how people will respond to something. And then all that goes into Zeotap. And then basically at the end of the day, what we do is activate all that with like identifiers. At the end of the day, a segment is basically a bunch of IDs that you send to an activation channel to do something with it, right? So, and those ID could be either your maids. It's not maids, like it's not the housemaids, not that at all. Actually, it's a mobile advertising ID. They have different names in different phones, but basically it's a unique identifier for a phone. That's a very persistent identifier. It's as persistent almost as emails, right? So it's something that doesn't I mean, if you change your phone, it will change. But besides that, it doesn't really change. So it's a very persistent ID. We have the CDC ID, which is basically Douglas's own customer stamp, which we actually use quite extensively. You have cookies, which are always dying but never dying, right? So this has been like I don't know, when I was working at Google, I don't know, 15 years ago, they said cookies are dying. We're now in 2026, cookies are still around, I don't know. So they seem to be dying very, very, very slowly, and they're still around. So so we activate them as well, and of course emails as well. So that all of these basically are identifiers that identifying users in a specific segment that get sent afterwards for the actual activation channels. All right. And then let's talk a little bit about how we can use all this beautiful data. So again, I'm taking it as an example in terms of a few examples from a marketing perspective. How can you use all this data? So first of all, in acquisition, so for those who don't know, acquisition is the part of marketing that is responsible for bringing new people to something. Either buy something, or in this case, join a loyalty program, or whatever, right? So that's an acquisition channel. So of course, you can, for example, if you already have existing customers that are already on your loyalty, you don't want to target them with the loyalty program because they're already on. So this is a good example of suppression, which is again something that people use CDPs like ours for, in order to say, okay, I don't want to target these people because I already have them, right? So and then you save a lot of money on marketing spend, and you can actually use that money to acquire more customers, right? So that's an example. Or you can use specific data in order to say, I want to target people to buy a specific thing. They haven't bought it before, right? So let's say I want to expose people to a new category, right? So you can acquire them from perfume to lipsticks, as an example.
Yeah, very good.
Right?
Yes,
Awesome.
very good.
Thank you. I found another category I can use as an example. I'm delighted. So that's another example of acquisition. Then retargeting. Retargeting, I think everybody who's in the marketing knows what this means. Basically, this is the thing that chases you for eternity until they find you and then you buy something, right? So retargeting is the ability to say, okay, I thought about buying something, I put it in my cart, I browsed it extensively, and now I'm in a list and I get a push notification, et cetera, and then it gives you the ability to do that. Of course, we put here also an example of replenishment because it's a specific way of retargeting. And then last but not least, and we're going to dive into that specifically, is about motivation. And we spoke about this a little bit in the predictive scores, but the idea is basically to see what can we find in terms of what attributes can we find and know about people so that we understand better what motivates them to take an action, right? So this is something that, I mean, at the bottom it says create a need they were not aware of before, which is basically the definition of marketing, right? So this is like, that's how you define marketing. Create a need that they were not aware of before, right? So anyway, I have a lot of jokes about that, but I'm not going to tell them because it's terrible. But anyway, so the idea is basically to find what is the underlying motivations of people. And I invite Eva to talk about these in the context of Douglas a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I've told you before, so there might be different motives or missions that our customers are on once they enter either our digital store or our physical stores. And of course, we want to find out what these motivations are in order to use them as triggers for their next purchase or next visit. So one can be the trend part. So maybe you're the beauty trend setter. You want to know the hottest.
That is me.
That is you, definitely. I can see that.
As shown.
So the trends, but also the events. So the holidays, for example. We have Mother's Day coming up. That's really one of the gifting moments, so to call them, for us as Douglas. Of course, there's replenishment, very triggered also by price sensitivity, because you already know the product. We don't need to show you your product because we already like it. We just need to tell you, hey, you need a new one. You need to repurchase it. It's about time. You should be done with it by now. And maybe also give the right offer.
Use it faster, please.
Yeah, use it faster, please.
You are supposed to buy.
You should be done now.
Exactly. You're supposed to buy a new one.
You didn't clean your face properly.
What's going on with your face? Exactly.
That's it. But of course, in a Douglas kind of way, in a good Douglas language.
Yes, not like me. Yes.
Yeah, in premium beauty language then. And also understanding the customers regarding their values and needs. So do they purchase vegan products? Is sustainability important to them, etc.? So there's a lot of dimensions that we use in order to create the right purchase or visit impulse for them. We had on the previous slide the case of category clicker. I think that's also an interesting case to talk about because it brings together the loyalty program and the CDP very closely, because we have some customers that register and then they have a beauty card online and they only clicked the category but they didn't purchase. And we build campaigns, activational campaigns, exactly on that behavior that they showed online. And it's really a successful campaign. So you might think, hey, the customer didn't convert, but really take that as a reason to contact the customer again, and maybe then try out what could be the incentive that works for the customer. And maybe it is a gift with purchase, maybe it is a discount, whatever. In best case, you have a next best offer algorithm that helps you also choosing the right incentive for the customer. Exactly.
All right, thanks for that, Eva. And then, I mean, we spoke a little bit about this, but we want to talk a little bit about the Chameleon integration as an example. Again, one of the things that we do as a CDP is allowing people to do activation in real time. Chameleon, again, I'm not specifically promoting that piece of software, which is a great one, but it doesn't have to be that one. Is basically what allows you to do a web personalization, right? So imagine a website will basically be changing based on what we know about you in real time, right? So again, to the point before, it could be specifically about replenishment. So if I know that you are, again, supposed to finish or about to finish your product, then I can actually, on a top banner or on a top banner in an app, I can show you a specific replenishment card, basically saying, hey, it might be time to do this, and then that immediately provokes a conversion event afterwards. The other one, of course, is basically event. Like this could be the obvious one, like a birthday event, could be a loyalty, birthday, anniversary, etc. All this kind of stuff. This is the stuff that you can use very easily. ROPO, for those who don't know, research online, purchase offline, and the other way around, research offline and purchase online, right? So both of these things are things that it's very difficult to uncover without having this customer 360 view, right? So because if you have your store data sitting somewhere and then you have your online e-commerce data sitting somewhere else and you don't do the connection, you won't actually notice that this is happening. And this is, I mean, Eva and I spoke about this on breakfast, during breakfast this morning. This is a big risk for brands like Douglas, because in many cases, Douglas has stores, right? So in beautiful stores you can go into, you can have a look at all your product, try it out, do everything, and then say, now I'm going to go to my favorite discount brand and buy this exact thing, right? So that's exactly this ROPO kind of behavior. And you want to know which are your ROPOs and which are your non-ROPOs, right? So like if somebody just buys the cheap stuff in the store, but the expensive stuff doesn't, you want to know about it, right? So then you want to try to maybe target them with a specific offer, right? So otherwise you're gonna lose out of the game to the big discounters, to the loss leaders of the market, right? So that's another example.
And maybe
just
please. To add some insights that we have, especially about the research online, purchase offline. So we really dig deeper into that, and what we found out, there are very specific campaign cases that we created. So on the one hand, we see especially the research online purchase offline makeup products, because for those using makeup, you might want to match your shade of your foundation, but you also want to try the lipstick, maybe want to smell, feel the texture, etc. That's really one part. And also lower price points, because you might not reach the minimum order value for free shipping. So you look at the products online and you see, where's the next Douglas store where I can get these products, and then I just go there and purchase it offline. So these are some cases, and we also see it when we're looking at the time or the point of time that people or our customers look at our online store Friday evening, and then they come to the store on Saturday, and then they drive into the city centers and come into our stores. So that's also a campaign that you can use in order to set the right trigger, maybe on a Saturday morning, to say, hey, come to your visit.
Time to come visit your favorite Douglas store.
Yeah, for example, in Hamburg at the Jungfernstieg, it's worth a visit today if you have some spare time.
Always be selling, always be selling. Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, we have also the CDP store. No, we don't. It's not a store. Anyway, yes, and then content, of course, basically to use all this analytical data to actually knows what content works best for people. So in many cases, especially for Anyway, Gen Z, but also for other gens. I'm not even sure. I think I'm just Gen. I'm not baby boomer. I'm not, but I'm Gen.
Millennial?
No,
No.
no, I'm Gen X. I'm Gen X.
Gen X.
I'm actually Gen X. I'm yeah, older. In my head, I'm older than I look. I think I'm exactly as old as I look, but in my head, I'm much older than I look. Anyway, so basically adapting the content so that it actually fits to the right profile, to the stuff that you're interested in, right? So if you have an interesting article or an interesting influencer talking about something, you want to match it to the right behavior. And then last but not least, talking a little bit about kind of like the future. So we talk a little bit about the beauty profile leveraging CDPs. Basically, we spoke a lot about the whole personalization element, but I want to talk a little bit about how AI fits into this whole narrative. You want to talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, sure, of course. So on the one hand, we have the beauty profile, which is in the future going to be a big part within the CDP. So you've seen our data sources, for example, but especially the beauty profile and having AI in place. And we are currently implementing an AI beauty advisor within our digital channels. And that's where the CDP comes into place. And it's not a one-way street. So we're not feeding only from the CDP into the AI beauty advisor with the customer purchase data, for example. It's also the other way around, which we think is really important.
Yes.
That Elad, for example, wants to buy his wife in the future at Douglas.
Yes. Let's go for that.
A fragrance. So he says, okay, I need a gift for my wife. It's her birthday. So we might know next year during that time, hey, Elad, please check on your wife's perfume. If it's empty, it might be a nice birthday present for her. So
exactly.
the mental load is already reduced for the husbands.
which is all that matters, right? So
yeah, exactly,
absolutely.
Because you have so much on your plate as a CEO, and so of
exactly.
course we're there to help.
Exactly. On a serious note, I mean, if you think about how AI LLMs work in general, right? So you want them to have as much context about you as possible, right? So you don't want to go into your ChatGPT or to your Gemini or to your Claude and start explaining from scratch everything about you, right? So you want to be able to, so if you imagine a situation where you log into Douglas, your Douglas app, and you have an AI beauty advisor there, you want that beauty advisor not to be like, who are you? What do you like? You want that AI to know exactly, and you want the conversation to be continuously fed as if that person knows you extremely well. And that's exactly this dynamic between data and AI that is becoming a very interesting thing, because right now, I'm sure you all know this, right? So when you talk to AI, it's very generic unless you give it context. And even if you give it context, it takes a very generic context because it uses just general web sources. The only other thing it can use is your previous conversations. This is your previous conversation on steroids. Basically, this is your entire behavior with Douglas, whether it's online, offline, in-store, etc., all combined into this beauty advisor. So it's a very, very powerful thing to do. And so that's like a little bit of a look into the future. And I think now we'll stop and ask if you have any questions. So that's it.
I think. So we need to put
any
these
questions
on if you have any questions.
We're putting this on so we can hear you. And to look as cool as you.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm going to come with the microphone to you because otherwise people can't hear you.
Hi. First, thanks for the presentation. That was very interesting. And I'm very sorry if I missed this, but how did you actually build the DNA, the attributes DNA? So how did you come up with the attributes? Did you get them from the data, or did you make a profile about product categories and so on?
So basically,
thanks.
We sat down and thought about the use cases that we have. So what are the classical customer lifecycle use cases, for example, but also what are the use cases that we experience on our website and within our stores when our beauty advisor is talking to our customers. So what do they need to know? The brand affinity, for example, the category affinity. So often our beauty advisor within the stores sees you, okay, you're female, She might also see if you're wearing makeup, so she could offer you the right makeup to your skincare, for example. So this is really about generating ideas, and that's why it's really important that the analytics team and the marketing / CRM MarTech team, that they work very close together. And that's also what you mentioned regarding marketing. You need to have the ideas how you want to activate, and then from that derive the right attributes that you want to have within your customer DNA. And also, as Elad was saying, this is very dynamic. It like changes from day to day because you get new use cases. Some use cases you might not be able to validate because they don't work as good as you expected. So this is really, I think, a day-to-day work.
And it's to the point earlier, it's basically combining those two parts of the brain, right? So this is like, I mean, at the end of the day, great marketing is this combination between this analytical side and this very marketing, storytelling side. Any other questions? So I'll be with you.
Yeah, cool presentations. So how do you deal with conflict or like CDP profiles? So in terms of the CRM, like there are like so many conflict with the old profiles, right? So yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
If you don't, you want to take it?
No, you
So this is an area in CDP called ID resolution, right? So there's a whole ID resolution is one of those very hidden parts of CDP. It's like really sitting in the back, but it's one of the most important things. It's actually this magic that happens in order to decide. There's like a decision engine at the end of the day of saying, okay, this person is actually this person, right? So if you think about it, companies have lots of that. I mean, to give obvious examples, you might have 2 loyalty cards. Like to give the very obvious example, right? So because people do, sometimes they sign up, right? I'm assuming that happens more than once. And so when you actually buy or use a CDP, you basically decide what are your main identifier that you want to match the data by, and how do you want to resolve it. Look, so for example, if you say, like the mobile ID, like my device ID or my mobile phone number, that's a primary data that I'm always using, and that will be more important than my loyalty number, right? So this is a way to resolve data, right? So because now I know, even if I have 2 loyalty card numbers, but it's connected to the same phone number, then I have a way in the system to say, okay, now this belongs to the same person, right? So it's just basically 2 loyalty cards for the same person. It makes sense? I mean, there are a lot of other examples, but we have quite a sophisticated algorithm to do all this ID resolution, and it allows customers to bring in what they know about their customer behavior, about their data, in order to actually put that into action. Other questions? All right. You.
So thank you very much for the hint on the wallet push. I think this is super interesting. I was just wondering if this is something that also needs an opt-in, or
It does.
And how do you collect it? So the loyalty sign up will then always be connected with an opt-in, because legally this is not mandatory, I guess.
Exactly, it's not mandatory, but you need the permission and you need the opt-in, and you can do that within the your customer profile in those countries where we have it active. So you won't find it for Germany yet, but
thanks
for other countries.
We are in Germany. Everything needs an opt-in. What do you mean? It's an obvious. The answer is always yes.
There's even a worse country than Germany.
Which one?
France.
Is it? This is a general statement. Yeah, this could be opening a very interesting conversation about France. No, not now. Okay.
No, I really like France.
Good. I like it too.
Yeah. I think that was good save. Yeah.
Yeah, I was also wondering regarding the wallet push, quite interesting. Is this your most favorite communication channels for the customer, and you don't use WhatsApp? I'm not sure if this would be a possibility for you as well, but...
Yeah, it is definitely a possibility for us, WhatsApp. But right now, we don't see cases yet that WhatsApp is profitable. So as a corporate company, not to say too much, but of course, if we spend a lot of money on solutions and also new communication channels, we look at business cases, and they need to be profitable. And right now, WhatsApp, it's quite critical, and that's why wallet it's quite easy to implement also with our tech stack. So as you saw, we have Emasis. I think it's okay that I say that here. So it's already integrated into Emasis, the wallet push. So that was an easy one for us to implement. And then you also look at the low to no costs. I think it's a really preferred channel, and the attention is high as well, because once you get the push, yeah, it's really cool. But WhatsApp, we didn't take it off the list. It's still there, but
It's lower on the list.
it's lower on the list. Yes.
Next question. I'm going to go do one front, one back, okay? So people in the back don't feel that they're in the back. Sorry.
Thank you. Sorry, that took a while. So my question is about the identifiers that you shared earlier. So the ID resolution part, like, does it resolve the cookies and like both emails and like other more like persistent like determining identifiers, or? And my second part of the question is, can it be activated into like one like segment block? So like for retail media activation, for example, can it be just activated like that, both using like cookies and like emails, for example?
So we're diving into ID resolution, which is fantastic. It's my favorite topic. I'm not sure it's everybody's favorite topic, but it's mine. So that's good. The short answer is yes, right? So we can. So in general, you can do ID resolution either deterministic or probabilistic. I don't want to go too much into detail, but generally speaking, either you are only matching people if you know for sure that this is the same person, for sure meaning same email, same phone number, etc. Or you can do probabilistic. Probabilistic is when you do matching when you are 90% sure, etc., that this is the person. Now, these two types of methodologies are used in different occasions, right? So you don't want to use probabilistic matching to do email marketing, because then you might send the wrong person, the wrong email. This is a disaster. But when you do paid media activation, for example, if you want to target somebody with a banner on Facebook or on TikTok, it's not so terrible, even because it's not like personalized, not yet. At some point it will be creepy enough to say Elad or Eva. But until then, it's kind of like mass personalization, so there's no problem doing this, right? So it depends on basically the use cases. And to your second question, yes, we can activate basically both on retail media as well as on email marketing, etc. So you can determine which methodology you want to use for what purpose, basically. Otherwise it doesn't work, right? So otherwise you can only do one type of personal ID resolution. Yes, next question. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The quick question I had is also on the wallet, because you said it works really well in one market, so I wonder where that is. And then the other question, the title of this session was loyalty for high margin growth. Do you have specific use cases where you actually use a loyalty program to increase profitability already?
Yes, we do. So let's start with the first question. The market is France. So
Eva's favorite new market.
My favorite market in general. So it's you won't find Douglas there. It's Nocibé for those who don't know. So Nocibé is the French Douglas. So you know, and regarding when we're talking about high margin, so what's the case, how we can use the loyalty program, and also the CDP for that, and Chameleon, is that we have this promo affinity and next best offer scoring. And then you can really send one-to-one the right offer to the customer, because you might know, okay, Elad really needs this present now, and he really would prefer like a same-day delivery rather than the discount, and maybe I'm very discount affine, so I would need the discount. And then with that, you can steer out or optimize the profit. And your loyalty and the behavior of your loyalty customers tells you a lot of information that you need in order to develop these models.
If I can add to that, I think one of the very interesting things specifically about Douglas's loyalty program is that, I mean, in a lot of cases, loyalty ends up being translated to discounts, right? So this is like I have points, I collect points, I get discounts. I think when you go into hyper-personalization mode, it actually doesn't go there at all. At the very least, you can basically personalize the discounts, right? So people who are completely oblivious, don't care at all about discounts, then they don't get a discount, right? So even that increases your margin. And then also you can also play with margin. We spoke about that also in our quite elaborate breakfast about like the ability to bundle low margin with high margin products, right? So all of this stuff is something you can use, basically loyalty and the consumer behavior, in order to say, okay, well, this person usually buys like low margin product. Why don't we try to bundle that with a high margin product and see whether we can actually make that person increase its personal
Profitability.
Yeah, exactly. All right, next question. Your friend is pointing. She's helping you.
Hi. I was wondering if you already see any effects of AI agent traffic, like a loss of traffic, and also how do you prepare for the future when we see like human traffic will be less and less, and all those CDP profiles are based on human traffic? Like, what if, the bot traffic rises? I mean, in the US market, we already see AI agents buying stuff for people, so that don't even enter the website anymore and do it themselves. I guess you're lucky because it's a pretty emotional topic, at least for me as a woman. But yeah, do you any preparation so far for the future regarding this?
Yes, of course.
We are all preparing for the future, I think, no? when AI takes over, no?
Yeah.
In general.
So we monitor that traffic closely, and we actually have a working group just focusing on that. And I think this is for loyalty. I mean, we could do a whole masterclass about how AI will change loyalty at some point. So we're monitoring it closely, and what will be important for loyalty once agents take over. Because then, especially we were talking about price sensitivity and price transparency, price might be the determining factor where you buy your product. And I think this is something that you need to think about in the future, how we need to change the loyalty program in order to be visible to agents, what kind of interfaces you need to build in order to be ready for that, what do you need to do in order to be visible. So we already track how visible we are at ChatGPT and co. So I think we're on the right track, but you just got to be ready once it flips. I think right now the traffic is too low yet, but there will be the point where it flips and you need to be ready. And so this would be the recommendation from my side. Really prepare now, also the data pipelines, etc., to be ready.
Yeah, I think, by the way, to just add to that, I think overall, people don't know, I think nobody knows yet how does e-commerce look like in AI, like in full.
Yeah.
The experience itself is not yet determined, let's say this way. Like I think like OpenAI are playing with some stuff around this, Claude is playing, but it's not yet a clear path saying, okay, now whatever, X% of humans stop buying, like stop going to a website and instead go to their AI and say, hey, I want to replenish my perfume. Sorry, I got back to the perfume thingy. I want to replenish my perfume, and so I just go and say, hey, I need another bottle, right? So this is still a question. I mean, we're following it very, very closely because our belief is that at some point when there is a protocol, I mean, there's like, for example, Google launched recently this Universal Commerce Protocol, which is like UCP, which is this idea that says, okay, you'll be able to build kind of like an AI, like a store within an AI environment. This is in Gemini. Again, right now it's all experiments, right? So it's not like ready. But this is the kind of stuff that we explore, and we understand that at some point there's going to be a percentage of humans that are going to say, okay, here is my context, here, like Gemini or ChatGPT, here's my context, and I just want to buy through you, and that's it. And you have my credit card, you have what I like to buy, and that's it. By the way, I don't think there's going to be a flipping point. This is like future. We don't. Yeah. I think there's going to be a gradual motion. I think, I mean, as people become all unemployed, maybe they can go to stores more because they're all unemployed now. So I don't know, maybe, who knows?
But
anyway,
they don't have the money.
No, don't freak out anybody. But yeah, and they might not buy anything because they don't have any money anymore. But ignoring that for a second, I would say that we're following it, and our assumption is that basically having the right data in the right format so that agents can talk to it is the way forward. Like that will be a good preparation. And of course, doing AEO, like the basic stuff, like doing AEO, monitoring your traffic, etc. That's right now, and we'll just need to see how it evolves. I mean, also OpenAI is looking at like an ads model inside this as well, which is still, I mean, they're hiring a lot of ads people in Europe, but or in everywhere in the world, but I haven't seen yet any format that is like really, let's say that's it. This is the new Google or the new golden standard of how people purchase within AI, right? So we're not there yet. I think last question, is it? Yeah, we're like on the dot. Any other last questions? Way in the back. Good for my steps. It's good.
Very kind. Thank you very much. One last question quickly. You spoke a lot about using owned media, of course, your store, or everything CRM. You talked a lot about paid. Beauty is an influencer game, and content creators are important. Can you elaborate on this, whether you catch it, whether you measure it, and in your scheme? Thank you.
This is all yours, Eva.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about influencers.
Of course, influencers and social commerce is a really big part. We didn't cover that, but I could also tell you about our creator program. So what we have a creator app. I don't know if you know about that. And each one of you can become a Douglas creator.
I signed up this morning.
Yeah, you did?
I did.
Okay. Yeah. So that means, so we're connecting influencers and creators with our customers and giving also our customers more information about the product. Because you will see on the product detail pages little videos made by our creators. So you can sign up within that app, apply with a short video, and then you're ready to go, basically, once you're admitted from our social team. So we truly believe in that. So we didn't cover it here, but there's a whole stream at Douglas working on that and also connecting loyalty with the community, and that's always connected to social commerce.
All right. Thank you, Eva, very much. Thank you all for the awesome question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.